Hey all, today I'm here to show you my 2024 reading journal. So I maintained a reading journal for the whole of last year consistently, and I'm very glad to say that I have completed it. A few days back I posted a 2025 reading journal setup video. So this video is something that I've been planning for a lot of days. So I finally got the time to do that, and so let's get started. So I bought this journal from Neora. So it's an Indian brand where you get all sorts of planners and journals in different sizes and different colors. So I really love their quality, and I decided to go with a B5 size. So you can see this is in lavender color and it has like 160 pages. So I was able to fill only like half the pages for 2024. So for 2025 as well, I'll be using this journal only. And it's all 110 GSM, I guess. So let's get started with the journal spreads. So opening up to the first page, I have a picture of me here, and this is also my Instagram DP if you have been following me on Instagram. And next up, I have got my title page and a quote page. So for the title page, I really kept it simple. So I've just written out the year and then reading journal, and I just do some book doodles. And on the left I have got a quote and some stickers. And next I've got my reading goals and bookshelf page. So what I do in these spreads is basically I list down my goals for the year, and things like how many books I need to read, and things like what books I should be reading, or if I'm taking up any challenge. So all those things I'll be writing down here. And these little boxes are for the number of books that I read that year. So I read 50 books last year, and this is all color coded based on the rating I give for that book. So first book I gave it a 3 stars, so I've colored it in blue, and so on. And this bookshelf, it's pretty much the same, except that this is color coded by genre. So pink means romance, blue means literary fiction, green means detective fiction, so it goes that way. And I've just written the book title in a smaller font. So that's all about this bookshelf page. And next I've got my book club spreads. So I was part of 2 book clubs last year. Lids on Book Club is a book club I host on Instagram, and Quentrell Book Club is another book club I'm part of, but I didn't end up reading a lot of books from Quentrell Book Club. Lids on Book Club, I missed to read 3 books. So apart from that, I've got the star ratings written out for the books that I did read. So how I set up this spread is each month the book club chooses a book of the month, and I print out that cover and just stick it in here. So I'll be posting another video on how I get these small book cover prints. Many of you have been asking me that. So a detailed video coming up on that soon. Or if not a video, I'll at least be posting a reel to cover that. So next I've got Read Christie Challenge. So last year, if you had seen my 2025 video, I would have explained in detail about what this challenge is. It's basically reading one Agatha Christie book per month, and I completed that challenge. And here are the books I read for each month and the ratings I provided. And this 12 books by 12 friends was also another flop on my part. So I asked, so before the year started, I asked on my Instagram story for people to recommend books from my TBR, and many of them had replied to that story. So I just picked 12 out of those and stuck their covers here, but I ended up reading only 4 books, as you can see from here. And so this year I'm not doing this challenge since last year I failed at it. And next I've got the monthly favorites page. So these are the favorite books out of the books I read each month. So it's for Jan, Feb, March, and so on. And here I've got physical books tracker. So what purpose this serves is basically it tracks my physical books that I have unread. So at the beginning of 2024, I had 120 unread physical books, and by the end of the year, it came down to 96. So I subtract whatever I read in that month, and I add whatever I bought that month, and I subtract whatever I unhauled that month. Unhaul means basically I gave the book to someone else, or gifted it to someone else, something like that. And at the end of each month I'll get a new total. So that total was 96 as on December end. And next spread is year overview and books bought spread. So year overview is basically the monthly stats. So for each month, I like to track the number of books I read that month, number of pages I read, the average rating I gave for the books that I read that month, and the number of days in which I read during that month. And then I've also got the number of books I bought that month and the money I spent on those books. And also I like to track the number of posts that I posted on Instagram. So in 2024 I made a resolution that I'll be active on Instagram, and I'll post reviews regularly, and I'll post my journal updates regularly there. So I think I did pretty good, especially in Jan and December. So I posted 25 posts and 28 posts in Jan and December respectively. This year also I tend to do the same. So you'll find me pretty active on Instagram and to some extent on YouTube as well. And next spread, I've got the books bought spread. So I bought a total of 38 books last year, but out of that some 4 or 5 books are the ones I received as gift. So it's really like 34 to 35 books that I bought. And I also write the amount that I spent on buying that book and from where I bought that book. So next few pages are this 2024 reading logs. So I like to track the books that I read and the details about that book. For example, the author, the genre, the dates when I read that book, the rating, and the format in which I read that book, and whether I've reviewed it, whether I've updated the review for that in my reading journal, and all those things. And these little tags above are for what purpose I'm reading that book, whether it is for any book club book of the month, or whether it's for any challenges I've taken up during the year, or whether it was part of any buddy read. So I assign color to each of those, and here in the tag column I color that accordingly. So this has 15 books, and this page has another 15 books and another 15 books, so totally 45, and the last 5 books here. So this blank space is totally bothering me, but I really don't know what to do with this as well. So if you have any suggestion, leave it down in the comment box below. So next, with that, all my yearly spreads are done. After that, it's all monthly spreads, which I'll be updating each month as and when I complete the reading for that month. So monthly spreads are pretty simple. I just have one calendar page, and I list down the TBR and the books I read that month. TBR means to be read. So I set a goal that I should read these books this month, but very often I don't end up reading those books. I either end up reading a completely different set of books, or I manage to complete very few books that month. And this calendar is where I'll track the number of pages I read each day. So for example, if I'm reading on Monday, I read 3 pages on Monday from this book, Fasting Feasting. So I'll color them in same color. And this Mystery of the Blue Train, if you see, I've colored it in purple color. And whenever I read that book, I'll just color that, and the number of pages I read each day, I'll write it down inside that. And this highlights page is something I did only for Jan month. After that, I didn't know what to do. So I discontinued this page for the future months. So it's just basically some basic details, like if something exciting happened in book club, and if something remarkable happened in my Instagram, and if I completed a book buying ban successfully, all those sorts of things. So last year I hit 2000 followers in January, so I've written that as a highlight here. But after that, I didn't have any highlights to write, so I stopped this with Jan month itself. So after the calendar page, I have got the review pages of all the books I read during Jan. I read only 2 books in January. So review pages follow a pretty basic pattern. I'll stick the book cover first, and then I'll write the title and the rating and from when I read that, and the serial number of that book. So this was first book, so I've written book 1, and then follows the review. So I don't write reviews for the first time here, meaning I post them on Instagram or Goodreads and then just copy them down here so that it looks neat. It's like in school we have classwork, homework, rough note, etc., right? So I maintain this like a record note. So I allow no room for mistakes, but mistakes do happen, which I'll show you in the upcoming pages. But yeah, I try my best to not make any mistakes here. And then next comes the February pages. So February also it follows the same pattern, calendar and the books I read, number of pages I read each day, and the reviews for that month. So I'll be skimming through these pages. All the monthly spreads are pretty much the same with the calendar and the reviews. This is April. This is May, June, and here I've got my mid-year check-in. So after June month, I thought I'll do a half-yearly spread here. It basically contains the number of books I read, number of pages I read, number of books I read each month, and number of pages I read each month, and a very simple chart of all the journals I read, and the star rating for the books that I read. And here I've got my favorite books and all the authors I read. So I've read like pretty good numbers, some 10 to 12 authors out of 22 books I've read. Yeah. So this is something I did on an impulse, so it might not be very perfect. And also one other important thing I missed to tell is all the headings and these borders, I've maintained them consistently throughout the year. So thinking up new borders or new themes or new designs for each month is pretty exhausting, and it can be overwhelming, and that is what led me to abandon my 2022 reading journal and 2023 reading journal. So this year I thought I'll keep things pretty simple, and that's one of the primary reason for me to stay consistent and actually follow through till the end of the year. So in all of the pages you will see the same border, just few sparkles here, and then a simple hand draw. I did not even use ruler for this, I just drew it freehand. So that's how easy it was for me to maintain my reading journal. So again, yeah, we come to the so since I was not following my TBR properly, I just started skipping that column altogether and just started writing books read alone. And speaking about mistakes, here is one where I committed a huge mistake. I added another 1 week in July. It might not be visible that clearly, but if you look closely, you can see that I have stuck another paper over that mistake here. So that's how I cover up any mistakes that I make in this journal. So yeah, again we come to the monthly review pages. Oh, here's August. Here's September. And then October, November, and finally December. So December was the month I read most books. I read 8 books in a rush to complete my reading goal of 50 books. So yeah, with that we have come to the end of the year spreads. So this is my most favorite spread in my entire journal. So 2024 reads. So I've got all of the books that I read last year. I printed out small book covers, and I cut them out and pasted them here. And I've also mentioned the star rating I gave for that book. So this spread looks very neat and satisfying somehow. And next I've got year-end wrap-up. So this page is basically a printout of all the Storygraph stats I get at the end of the year. So I track my reading digitally on an app called Storygraph. So there on 31st December onwards, you will get a yearly wrap-up of all the books that you have read that year. So you'll get various statistics like the page number of the books that you read, and the moods of the books that you have read, and the pace of the books that you have read, and the genre breakdown, and the most read author. So if you can see, since I took up the reading challenge, Read Christie challenge last year, I read 12 books by Agatha Christie, so that stays higher here. And all other authors by whom I read like 2 to 3 books last year. So that is what the spread is. So I took screenshot of those stats and printed them out and then pasted them here. So similar to this yearly stats, you also get a monthly stat in Storygraph at the end of each month. You can also download it prior also if you decide that you're done for that month. So they released this feature only by August or September of last year, I guess. So that's why I didn't plan to include it in along with the monthly calendars. So I thought I'll put a collage at the end of the year like this. So these are all for the 12 months, and this year I plan to paste it along with the monthly calendars itself. So I'll be coming to the January 2025 reading journal setup in another 2-3 weeks of time. So that is the spread, and here I've got Read Christie postcard. So official Agatha Christie also releases a postcard that you can take print, but I didn't want to keep it as a postcard. I wanted to keep it as part of my reading journal itself. So I pasted that here, and this is just some filler page. So I didn't want to leave this page blank for the year. So I took my top viewed posts of Instagram and just pasted them here. So that's it for 2024 reading journal. So next page, if you see, right after this I have started my 2025. So if you want to see how I set up these spreads for 2025, watch my previous video. I'll link it down in the description, or you can also find it in my profile. So yeah, that's it basically. So 2024 is all complete. It all looks very satisfying. I'm so happy with myself that I stuck to this this year. Last year. So this year also I hope to do the same. If you like this video, consider subscribing and liking. I'll be posting more reading journal related videos in the upcoming months. I'll be posting one video hopefully for every month on how I fill the monthly spreads and the yearly spreads for that month. So hopefully I'll be more active here. So share with your journal enthusiastic friends, and follow me on Instagram as well if you're there. I post regular photos and regular updates on there about my reading journal and about my reading in general, and also more book reviews there. So bye. Thanks for watching.